Now people look at me, not the redness.
Isn't it time you faced up to rosacea? Make the call today.
This face is looking good these days.
She has one of the best voices in the business. Her voice is original, it's beautiful. She can just hit notes and take you places that nobody else can. One of the great divas.
Diana Ross takes the stage. VH1 Divas 2000. Coming Tuesday, April 11th at 9.
Didn't we write out all the stuff we were going to say in between?
No. We did, but
we forgot it all.
We knew that you would
practiced.
just talk a star.
I was going to read.
We knew you would say
None of
so
this
much
is
more.
rehearsed. Yeah, I can really see us doing that.
That's right.
You know, I'll talk about trains for a while. I'm going to tell them about my dog.
We've been through some things together, with trunks of memories still to come. We found things to do in stormy weather. Long may you run. Long may you run. Long may you run. Although these changes have come, with your chrome heart shining in the sun. Long may you run. Well, it was back in Blind River in 1962 when I last saw you alive. But we missed that shift on the long decline. Long may you run. Long may you run. Long may you run. Although these changes have come, with your chrome heart shining in the sun. Long may you run. Long may you run. Maybe the Beach Boys have got you now, with those waves singing Caroline, no, Caroline, no, rolling down that empty ocean road, getting to the surf on time. Long may you run. Long may you run. Although these changes have come, with your chrome heart shining in the sun. Long may you run. Long may you run. Long may you run. Although these changes have come, with your chrome heart shining in the sun. Long may you run. Long may you run. Thank you, everybody.
So I'm the lucky one that gets to sing you a brand new song that you've never heard before first. They stuck me with the job, so. This is a song that I wrote to my son Django, my little boy. And how it happened was that I was driving along and I had this bad thought, which was, what if I see an accident? How am I going to explain it, you know, to him? Maybe what if there's people laying there, and how do I tell him, you know, that there's an end to life? How do I? And that started me thinking about how do I explain everything to him? And by the time I got him to school, I was well into this song.
something about a queen. There were peasants singing and drummers drumming. The archer split the tree.
Sullivan didn't want America to see Elvis shaking his pelvis.
The system was afraid.
It was the defining moment between rock and roll and censorship.
The crowd completely engulfed us.
It's getting hard to breathe.
Why did 11 people die at a rock concert?
We write music for people to have a good time with, not kill themselves.
Why do you think Raymond committed suicide?
He was affected by the music he was listening to.
VH1 Rock Story takes you behind the biggest events in music history. Hosted by ER's Anthony Edwards. Premieres Wednesday, March 29th at 10. Only on VH1.
This is power. The power in new Duracell Ultra. The most powerful alkaline battery in the world. For ultra performance in whatever it powers. New Duracell Ultra. More power, more life.
Big night out. Even bigger problem. I needed a pad. Em only had tampons. Tampons? Playtex Gentle Glide. Gentle Glide. And I'm thinking, is this gonna be comfortable? And Em says, why wear a pad that feels like a diaper? No way.
Nothing protects quite like Playtex Gentle Glide because its unique design adjusts to comfort fit your body. No pad, not even the thinnest ones, can do that.
Playtex Gentle Glide tampons. So comfortable you can't even feel them.
The 2000 Sable, new from Mercury.
You know, we might get hounded by fans out here. I am David Duvall.
Oh, hey.
Yo, guys!
Here we go.
Is that AT&T one rate 7-cent plan good all the time?
Yes, it is.
Thanks! Hey.
There are no time restrictions?
7 cents all day, every day.
Well, that's a heck of a plan, Dave. Hey, phone guy!
That's unfortunate.
7 cents a minute, all day, every day.
Excuse me.
It's all day, every day.
Hey, stick to the golf, huh?
Hey, neighbor, can I borrow some ice?
Yeah, sure. Hold this.
Yep. Thanks. Got any sugar? Toothbrush? Hairdryer?
With more barbecue and cheddar flavor you can see, more you can taste on every chip and every bite. New Ruffles Flavor Rush potato chips keep you coming back for more.
You want incredible color.
But you also want incredible hair.
Intense color, lasting color.
Color that loves your hair.
It's not impossible, it's Hydrians. Incredible color that's incredibly gentle. It's no ordinary color.
Its unique water-based color cream hydrates your hair with pure, permanent color.
Nothing penetrates deeper.
To last longer.
But Hydrians won't shock your hair.
So you get
Color that's rich.
And shining. Indulge your hair with Clairol Hydrians.
Incredible color that's incredibly gentle.
Well done, Demetrius. You have passed the test of fire and the test of great strength. Now, the final test. You must eat a Wendy's Classic Triple with cheese, Vicky fries, and a drink. Only the most heroic can finish such a large meal.
Nikos, I cannot. It is too big.
By Zeus, what mortal can make such a feast?
A great man. His name is Dave Thomas.
Man? No. He must be a god.
Wendy's Classic Triple. As close to bliss as a mortal can get.
Can't get enough peanuts? Get a Payday. Sweet caramel and tons of salty peanuts.
DreamWorks Pictures presents the musical movie event of the season, The Road to El Dorado.
We'll follow that trail.
featuring 6 original songs from the Academy Award-winning team of Elton John and Tim Rice. Reunited for the first time since The Lion King. The Road to El Dorado, rated PG, coming to theaters March 31st.
This is power. The power in new Duracell Ultra, the most powerful alkaline battery in the world. For ultra performance in whatever it powers. New Duracell Ultra. More power, more life.
Now TV Land will bring you Inside TV Land, The Honeymooners, an original hour-long special. With new interviews and previously unseen footage, you'll see how the show came to life. Explore the roots.
He was the reactor. Many of the funny lines were Audrey's and not.
Get a whole new perspective.
The writers were shaking in their boots.
And see the show's impact today. Watch Inside TV Land, The Honeymooners. Premiering March 14th at 10 p.m.
Here's a song that I wrote one day, one morning. I believe it was in the morning. And it was, I'm not making this up, by the way. It was, you know, it was a nice morning, and it was, I had these thoughts and ideas that I couldn't put into words. And then I had, you know, the opportunity to play my piano and sing the song, which I don't do on the piano anymore. But the words came with the music. Well, I dreamed I saw the knights in armor come, saying something about a queen. There were peasants singing and drummers strumming. The archer split the tree. There was a fanfare blowing to the sun that floated on the breeze. Look at Mother Nature on the run in the 21st century. We got Mother Nature on the run in the 21st century. I was lying in a burned out basement with the full moon in my eye. I was hoping for replacement when the sun burst through the sky. There was a band playing in my head, and I felt like getting high. Thinking about what a friend had said, I was hoping it was a lie. Thinking about what a friend had said, I was hoping it was a lie. Well, I dreamed I saw the silver spaceships lying in the yellow haze of the sun. There were children crying and colors flying all around the chosen ones, all in a dream, all The loading had begun. We were flying Mother Nature's silver seed to a new home in the sun. Flying Mother Nature's silver seed to a new home.
So this environment is very much like where we all learned to play in front of people, which were these little coffee houses spread around the country. Even mine, in particular, was in New York City, where, of course, they didn't pay you at all. It was basically you got to come in and watch them charge $2 of 1962 dollars, you know, for a cup of coffee and watch you beg, you see. And these kids from Cambridge would come down and stuff, and they would sing these interminable songs with just verse after verse after verse of absolutely incomprehensible stuff, and they would get really mad if you talked. Well, I've written one of those songs, unfortunately.
Oh, yes.
But I hope, actually, you're free to dance in this one. Over intolerance and all the indignities heaped on the black man. We went to church, they all prayed for the white man, but the cops and the preachers was most of them in the Klan. What's a kid supposed to think when the adults are all such hypocrites and possibly smug? Have you seen enough? I had seen enough of this. Generation of Woodstock Nation, a little bit flaky but no hesitation. Stop the war, it wasn't we're dying for. The paranoia of Cold Warriors, arrogant old men with domino theories, fractured fairy tales trying to kill me. Ain't you seen enough? Seen enough of this? People you never met, locked in the basement, hot wired to the net, isolated, infuriated, but the punchline to the joke is how they are gonna smoke. Every last stuck-up snob ever dissed them. Look in their eyes, how could you miss them? Ain't you seen enough? Seen enough of dead drunk, dead stupid cyberpunk, dead up killer geeks, gigabyte meth freaks, home alone in a world of their own, up all night in the thick of the fight, fantasy combat, veterans cycles, removed from reality by silicone diodes. Just seen enough. pointedly obviate every opinion they have about anything, even if they don't know shit. Stay in the limelight, start your own website. Got all the answers, ain't got a lick of sense. Practicing psychiatry without a license. Ain't you seen enough? Seen enough of that? Seen enough of that? So now there's over there talking heads on television, ignoring the obvious with pained expressions. Ask the ones that sell the damn guns by the truckload every day, fast as they can make them. What's the kid supposed to think when they adults refuse all accountability when they fuck up into seen enough, seen enough of them. Seen enough of them.
In terms of the storytelling, when we were asked to do this show, Neil looked at the three of us and he said, but the songs tell the story.
Don't you ever ask them why? If they told me you would cry, so just look at them and sigh. And know they love you.
CSNY was America's first supergroup. For 30 years, they lived high and low. From near-death experiences to wealth and luxury, Crosby, Stills, Nash Young are legends. Their story is next, only on VH1.
Storytellers is sponsored by new Ruffles Flavor Rush. Ruffles Flavor Rush keeps you coming back for more. By the 2000 Mercuries, live life in your own lane. And by Wendy's Crispy Chicken Nuggets, a small price to pay for great chicken.
How you doing? Having problems with your heat?
Nope.
Sure? Yeah. Is your cable working? Yeah. Need me to unclog your pipes?
Nope.
Positive?
Yeah.
I could do it. Light bulb?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Looking kind of dark in here.
No, that's bright enough.
Dry cleaning?
Oh.
Come on. Found your dog.
Introducing Ruffles Flavor Rush with a revolutionary new seasoning process that packs more flavor onto every chip.
Are you the super? Me? Nah. I live down the hall.
New Ruffles Flavor Rush keeps you coming back for more.
The 2000 Sable, new from Mercury.
Choose one. Either Wendy's delicious classic double with cheese or Heather.
What was that again?
Choose either Wendy's classic double made fresh so it's very hot and juicy or Heather.
Wow, that's a tough one.
Well?
Heather?
That's never happened before.
Yeah, I knew it. We should have added biggie fries and a drink.
Wendy's classic double with cheese, bliss, at least when it comes to hamburgers.
This is power, the power in new Duracell Ultra, the most powerful alkaline battery in the world. For ultra performance in whatever it powers. New Duracell Ultra. More power, more life.
El Dorado, city of gold.
We'll follow that trail.
What trail? On March 31st. Go for the action.
Get on!
Go for the adventure.
Prepare yourself for battle!
Go for the music. Featuring 6 new songs from Elton John and Tim Rice, reunited for the first time since The Lion King.
That was good.
The Road to El Dorado. Rated PG. Starts Friday, March 31st everywhere.
You want incredible color.
But you also want incredible hair. Intense color, lasting color, color that loves your hair.
It's not impossible. It's Hydrian's. Incredible color that's incredibly gentle. It's no ordinary color.
Its unique water-based color cream hydrates your hair with pure, permanent color. Nothing penetrates deeper.
To last longer.
But Hydrian's won't shock your hair. So you get color that's rich
and shining. Indulge your hair with Clairol Hydrian's.
Incredible color that's incredibly gentle.
People in Hollywood aren't always famous for looking natural. That's why I love new Natural Contours by Cross Your Heart. It's a look that's more rounded, more curvy, more... Look at me. Natural Contours. New. From Cross Your Heart.
It looks like you're blushing, but the blushing never really goes away.
I felt so self-conscious. I mean, why is my face always so red?
I thought it was acne, but at my age?
It was embarrassing.
If you have redness on your face that doesn't go away, you could be one of the 12 million Americans with a skin condition called rosacea. Rosacea can get worse if it's not treated, so call this toll-free number and get the facts about effective rosacea treatments that are available.
Now I feel relieved. I know what it is, I know how to treat it, and I'm myself again.
When you call, you'll receive a free booklet that tells you what rosacea is and describes things you can do to help keep your rosacea under control. You'll also receive a free list of dermatologists in your area who can diagnose and treat your rosacea.
Now people look at me, not the redness.
Isn't it time you faced up to rosacea? Make the call today.
This face is looking good these days.
Coming to Behind the Music 2 in 1994.
Kevin and Steve would take things from people and sell them to other people to make money for our demos.
They would do anything.
I stole more pot plants to make this record.
To get a record deal.
Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on.
BTM 2, a new generation of rock stories.
It's always an overnight success thing, because until you make it, you're not successful.
Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, Smash Mouth, only on VH1.
If you feel compelled to sing this song, don't let anybody stop you. Go right on ahead.
1, 2, 3.
The
Legends is presented by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
Crosby, Stills, Nash Young were the first American supergroup. They began the 70s as the top band in the U.S. and then abruptly broke apart. For 30 years they lived high and low, from adoring stadiums to jail cells, from wealth and luxury to near-death experiences. But when times were dark, the friendship between these four complicated men shone brightest, until they surprised the whole world by reuniting to tour in the year 2000, 3 decades after they walked away. David Crosby, Stephen Stills, Graham Nash, and Neil Young are legends. This is their story.
Carry on, love is coming, love is coming to us all.
The first time I saw Neil, I was going across Canada on this tour with this little folk group, and he was doing exactly what I wanted to do when I got back, was to get a great rhythm section and play folk songs on an electric guitar.
Every time you touch her. We drove down to Los Angeles in a '53 Pontiac hearse, and we're in traffic, and I guess Stills saw us, so he ran up to us and got us, and then we pulled over.
Neil Young teamed up with Stephen Stills in 1966 to form one of the greatest California rock bands, Buffalo Springfield.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear.
The Springfield found immediate success, but conflicts between the two stars, Stills and Young, combined with Young's desire for a solo career, caused tension from the start. Stills said later that he wanted to be in the Beatles, and Neil wanted to be Bob Dylan.
Oh, hello, Mr. Soul, I dropped by to pick up a reason.
The relationship was a bunch of 19 and 20-year-old guys just getting something together for the first time in the spotlight of, you know, interviews and you know, attention that they'd never had before.
We lost the ability to stay in the moment, you know, which is what you have to do to perform.
Young walked out on the group just before the 1967 Monterey Pop Festival. Stephen asked David Crosby of the Byrds to fill in.
Neil had split, and Stephen, you know, and I knew each other and liked each other, and he said, "Well, you want to, like, we got to do this gig. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You got to do this." And I said, "Yeah, I'll sing it."
Stop! Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look at what's going down. Stop! Children, what's that sound? Everybody look at what's going down.
Crosby was also performing at the festival with the Byrds, who were at the height of their success. Crosby was having troubles with his bandmates Chris Hillman and Roger McGuinn, troubles that were magnified by his performing with Buffalo Springfield.
I remember it being a very kind of sour experience. It was sad on stage. There was the camaraderie that we'd had as a band wasn't there anymore. It was David Crosby's wanting to be in what became Crosby, Stills, and Nash that really drove the situation to an end.
There was some friction there, you know, and also I've never been, you know, the easiest person in the world. I'm very opinionated and very independent guy.
8 miles high, and when you touch down.
They said, you know, we'd rather do it without you. I said, well, you're making a terrific mistake, you know. They said, well, we think we'll do better without you.
When Buffalo Springfield split for good, Crosby and Stills decided to team up.
We sort of found ourselves spending a lot of time together and driving around and you know, and singing songs, and basically me and Crosby were hanging out. And we went and saw Graham sing with the Hollies, and then Cass comes up and whispers to me, "Do you think you guys need a harmony singer?"
Cass Elliot of the Mamas and the Papas introduced David and Stephen to the English pop star Graham Nash. Graham had been a member of the Hollies since the early 60s. But by 1968, he was beginning to feel the limitations the group was putting on him.
Bus stop, wait, she's there, I say, please share my umbrella.
when I made the decision to leave the Hollies, three things had happened. One, I was getting frustrated that I was writing songs that I thought were pretty cool and that they didn't want to record. Secondly, they wanted to do an entire album of Bob Dylan songs in a kind of Las Vegas horn section, swing band kind of thing. And the third thing is that I'd actually been befriended by this teddy bear called David Crosby. Cass Elliot said, "Get in the car, I want you to meet somebody."
She brought him over and told me to get him stoned.
On his chest was a lid from a shoebox, and in the lid was a pile of dope.
I had this pullover pot, meaning if you smoked some and you were going someplace, you would pull over and try to remember where you were going. It was stoner weed. So we laughed all through the afternoon, and I liked him a lot.
In the summer of 1968, Crosby, Stills, and Nash sang together for the first time at a house in Laurel Canyon, belonging to either Cass Elliot or Joni Mitchell.
Nobody is absolutely sure. Now, this is possibly because we might have smoked one, but none of us is absolutely sure whether it was Joni's or Cass's. I say it was Joni's.
See, David got it wrong. It was at Cass's house where we sang together.
In the morning when you rise, we had, I had a pretty good harmony too, and we sang it to Graham, and he went, "Do that again, would you?"
In the morning.
And the third time, he put the top part on. And Steve and I looked at each other and went.
Before Crosby, Stills, and Nash could make their group official, Graham had to go back to England to quit the Hollies. David and Stephen joined him in London.
We go to Britain to rehearse, and there were like fans that would spot us in a car and holler things at us because we were blowing up one of their groups, Oh, those horrible Americans. I didn't know that it was that big a deal. Just a band.
The trio rehearsed their songs and started looking for label interest.
We did attempt at one point to get on Apple Records. It was an up-and-coming new record label, obviously controlled by the Beatles and Peter Asher at the time. We actually auditioned for George and Peter.
Blackbird fly.
And we sang it very well, and they passed, which I think they probably, in hindsight, were not happy about.
Ahmet Ertegun of Atlantic Records had loved Buffalo Springfield and offered the new group a contract. Crosby, Stills, and Nash settled in Los Angeles to record their first album.
We knew that we were doing something really unusual. We knew the songs were really good, and we were totally thrilled. And it was the year of the guitar player, you gotta understand. This was a year when Clapton and Hendrix and Jimmy Page and people like that were it, and for us to come out from left field with this, three-part harmony and a lot of acoustic stuff, it's a pretty unexpected thing. It was great.
Almost cut my hair.
The music was wonderful, but the dynamic between the three strong personalities was explosive.
And you walked out 2 days in a row, you hypocrite.
I have my own weirdnesses and crazinesses, but it's not as volatile as David and Stephen's. So we settled into that role, David and Stephen over the years have loved each other to death.
We disagree about a lot of stuff, but we're brothers. I love him. He loves me. And brothers fight.
In May of 1969, the band released their debut. Sweet Judy Blue Eyes and Marrakesh Express were AM hits. FM radio played the entire album. The music of Crosby, Stills, and Nash became the sound of the counterculture. Within a few months, David, Stephen, and Graham would be more famous than they had ever been with their previous bands. They had never performed live when an offer came in to appear at a summer music festival in upstate New York. Crosby, Stills, and Nash said yes. Their performance at Woodstock would change everything.
Friend to royalty, beloved by millions, a rock and roll legend.
I had bulimia, I was a drug addict, I was an alcoholic. They actually paid money to people to make up these stories. You're on the front page of Britain's leading tabloid and you're supposed to have urinated on 4 boys you tied up. They demoralized me. that period of my life has gone, and now I'm very happy.
VH1 Behind the Music. Premiere episodes Sunday nights at 9, 8 Central. Next Sunday, the premiere of the Elton John story. Followed by the VH1 premiere of Elton John's brand new Road to El Dorado concert. Legends is sponsored by AT&T. It's all within your reach. By Blockbuster, where you'll find hot new releases guaranteed to be there. And by Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken.
Yes! That's 3 for me and 9 for you. Come on, use the golf lingo. 1 birdie, 1 quintuple bogey. That's all I'm asking. Now let's talk about something I know. All right.
What's the AT&T one-rate 7-cent plan?
Calls are just 7 cents a minute. All day, every day.
All right. 7 cents a minute. All day, every day.
Okay. I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 1 billion. 7. Oh, you're good. You're very, very good.
Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
It's late, and you're tired. This is no time to have to return a movie. So now Blockbuster gives you until noon the next day to return it, 'cause it's late, and you're tired.
Rent Eyes Wide Shut at Blockbuster and keep it 12 hours longer.
Baby did a bad, bad thing. Baby did a bad, bad thing.
If you men only
Baby did a bad.
knew. Eyes Wide Shut, rated R. Guaranteed to be there this week at Blockbuster.
Hey, neighbor, can I borrow some ice?
Yeah, sure. Hold this.
Yep. Thanks. Got any sugar? Toothbrush? Hairdryer?
With more barbecue and cheddar flavor you can see, more you can taste on every chip and every bite. New Ruffles Flavor Rush potato chips keep you coming back for more.
Car makers have always promised to set you free. Finally, there's one that actually does. Because every car Hyundai builds comes with the freedom of America's best warranty, which means you're free from worrying about your new Tiburon for the next 10 years.
There's one question my Italian family loves to answer.
So what's new?
They've got a million things to tell you. And tonight, you'll hear all about what's new at Olive Garden. Parmesan crusted chicken. I never tasted anything like this. They lightly bread the chicken with Parmesan cheese and sauteed in a creamy white wine sauce. It's so good, I could eat it every night. Now, the next question is, what will Sally name her new baby?
I got one, Sophia.
Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
In the summer of 1969, Crosby, Stills, and Nash released their first album to immense critical and commercial acclaim. Then it was time for the group to tour. Stills had overdubbed lead guitar, keyboards, and bass on the album. They would need other musicians to perform the songs on stage. It was Atlantic Records president Ahmed Erdogan who suggested Stevens' former bandmate Neil Young would be the perfect addition.
I'd been casting about for a keyboard player. I wanted another musician to play opera. But I'm talking it over with Ahmed one day. And Ahmed says, why don't you get Neil? I'm like, didn't we just go through this?
Stephen decided that Ahmed was right. David and Graham were not so sure.
We had an interview with Neil in Greenwich Village on Bleecker Street. And I went to breakfast with Neil because I was the one that was mainly against it, because I didn't see what we needed from Neil. You know, the blend that we had with our voices was pretty good, and our musicianship was pretty good. And by the time I'd finished breakfast with Neil, I would have given him the world. He was unbelievably brilliant, and of course I loved his music.
The bottom line was, if you listen to Neil's songs, how are you not going to invite him in? You know, listen to the songs, man. Good Lord. I'd ask him to join.
Oh, I thought it'd be cool to play with Steven again, and the other guys were great singers and had their own songs and everything. But I really felt like I had some unfinished stuff with Steven that we play together, and we needed to do more of that.
The band officially changed its name to Crosby, Stills, Nash Young and went to perform their first gig in Chicago. 1 week later, they had their second performance at Woodstock.
Looking at the world through the sunset in your eyes. Traveling the train through clear Moroccan skies. Ducks and pigs and chickens called.
This gig had come up, and it was a kind of a shaky deal. Nobody was sure what was going to happen. We just knew that some of our favorite bands were going to play there.
You know we're riding on the Marrakesh Express.
The big nervousness that everybody, makes a point of, when Steven said.
Tell them who we are. They don't know. You just sing. Hello, Tess.
The point was that all the people that we really cared about were all standing right behind us. And they had all heard the record, but we'd never played live before. And so they said, okay, well, let's see, can they do it?
It's getting to the point where I'm no fun anymore. I'm sorry. Sometimes it hurts so badly I must cry out loud. I'm lonely.
But when the camera set up to shoot the band's historic performance, Neil Young refused to be filmed.
I was offended by the cameras all over the place because it was a distraction to what we were doing, which was playing the music. And so I told them not to do that with me, that not to film me, don't bother, don't come near me, and, stay out of the way.
After Woodstock, the band's reputation grew with every show they performed.
No privacy, no respect for the sanctuary, the dressing room. Look at them.
Within a month after their first gig, Crosby, Stills, Nash Young were superstars. Their performance in New York's Fillmore East created such pandemonium the crowds refused to leave the venue. Concert promoter Bill Graham began stuffing money underneath the dressing room doors until the band returned to the stage. In September, the group went to San Francisco to record an album, but the mood had changed.
4 and 20 years ago, I come into this life, the son of a woman and a man who lived in strife. He was tired of being poor.
David suffered a huge loss when his girlfriend Christine Hinton was killed in a car accident.
When I made Deja Vu, I was very sad. My girlfriend had just been killed, and a lot of the time I would come into the studio and just sit on the floor and cry. I wasn't very together. I'm amazed that we did as good a work as we did.
The band managed to finish their album, but it was a tough time to begin the longest tour any of them had ever been. Deja Vu was released in March of 1970, at the same time the Beatles broke up. CSNY were rock's new superstars. Their singles Woodstock, Our House, and Teach Your Children were all over radio. They were the symbol of peace and love, except between themselves.
Well, you know, there was one time in Denver where we had some trouble about rehearsals or something, and they had booked a tour, and once again that never really works for us because the first day we were rehearsing with a new bass player. Once we got to know the guy and started playing with him, it was great. So there was a big fight around then.
We used to fight a lot, sort of like a hockey team, you know, the puck's flying around. And Neil tells this great metaphor about playing hockey. The team's really clicking and everything, and then all of a sudden the gloves are up and they're all fighting, and then they pick them back up and they go back to playing hockey again. It's kind of like that.
In May of 1970, the band recorded what would become their most profound political statement, a reaction to the shooting of 4 Kent State college students at an anti-war rally.
I was at this house in a canyon on the California coast. Crosby came up and he had the magazine, the Kent State Killings cover on it. And I'd heard it on the news, but Crosby always has a way of bringing things into focus. That's what really woke me up to, that there was something going on there that I had some thoughts about.
He started writing a song. And when it was done, I called Nash, I think, and said, get the studio. Get any studio. Get it now. We're on our way. And we cut it, and it was out in a week.
Ohio ratified CSNY's position as the voice of the counterculture. Deja Vu was selling in the millions. Their concerts were rallies, rock shows, political events. But Neil was gearing up to restart his solo career with his new album, After the Gold Rush. In July, the CSNY tour ended, and so did the band. They were living legends. They had been together 1 year.
You are watching VH1 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Week.
Sullivan didn't want America to see Elvis shaking his pelvis.
The system was afraid.
It was the defining moment between rock and roll and censorship.
The crowd completely engulfed us.
It's getting hard to breathe.
Why did 11 people die at a rock concert?
We write music for people to have a good time with, not kill themselves.
Why do you think Raymond committed suicide?
He was affected by the music he was listening to.
VH1 Rock Story takes you behind the biggest events in music history. Hosted by ER's Anthony Edwards. Premieres Wednesday, March 29th at 10. Only on VH1.
The new BMW X5.
How you doing? Having problems with your heat?
Nope.
Sure?
Yeah.
Is your cable working?
Yeah.
Need me to unclog your pipes?
Nope.
Positive?
Yeah.
I could do it. Light bulb?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Looking kind of dark in here.
No, that's bright enough.
Dry cleaning?
Oh.
Come on. Found your dog.
Introducing Ruffles Flavor Rush with a revolutionary new seasoning process that packs more flavor onto every chip.
Are you the super? Me? Nah. I live down the hall.
New Ruffles Flavor Rush keeps you coming back for more.
It's late, and you're tired. This is no time to have to return a movie. So now Blockbuster gives you until noon the next day to return it, 'cause it's late, and you're tired.
Rent Stigmata this week at Blockbuster and keep it 12 hours longer. Believe the words. Beware the message. Behold the truth.
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
Stigmata, starring Patricia Arquette and Gabriel Byrne. Rated R. Guaranteed to be there this week at Blockbuster.
Get this, clear skin from a makeup. New Neutrogena Skin Clearing Makeup. Dermatologist developed with a blemish fighter that clears up your skin. Natural looking coverage makes it beautiful. And shine? No way. New Neutrogena Skin Clearing Makeup. It's beautiful, it's beneficial, it's Neutrogena.
I don't know where you're putting this dip, but I'll tell you.
Waiting for Grammy.
Where's Grammy?
In London.
We're waiting for the rates to go down. You know, with AT&T's international plan, you could call now.
But we want the low rate.
You'd get their low rate all day, every day.
To the UK.
Wherever.
She won't answer it.
She thinks it's too early.
They'll be laughing about this for years.
Oh, yes.
Great rates to the world, all day, every day. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
You are in the fight of your life. Just you against your smoking addiction, one-on-one. Trouble is, it's not a fair fight, and few people win it. But you can give yourself a fighting chance to win with Zyban. Zyban doesn't work for everyone. Zyban is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor to help you stop smoking. It's different from nicotine replacements. Zyban is the only prescription medicine that's nicotine-free, so you don't have to stop smoking all at once. As Zyban reduces your cravings, you feel like smoking less and less until you're ready to stop completely because you're ready to win. You should know there is a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you have or have had a seizure or eating disorder, or if you take Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you use an MAO inhibitor. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you, because it can help you quit smoking by making it a fight you can win. Zyban, you don't have to quit all at once.
Coming to Behind the Music 2 in 1994.
Kevin and Steve would take things from people and sell them to other people to make money for our demos.
They would do anything.
I stole more pot plants to make this record.
To get a record deal.
Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on.
BTM 2, a new generation of rock stories.
It's always an overnight success thing, because until you make it, you're not successful.
Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, Smash Mouth, only on VH1.
Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard.
At the end of 1970, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young had become the biggest band in America. Then at the peak of their fame, they walked away.
We got together at a certain point in time, and it had a huge effect on a lot of people, including ourselves. And then, but we always planned from the beginning to go off in different directions and do different things, and it just was a loose organization.
She could drag me over the rainbow. Down by the river, I shot my baby.
By the time the live album 4-Way Street was released, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young were all making solo records.
When we started, we used our own names because we intended to continue with solo careers. All of us. And every time we did it, they'd say, oh, they broke up. We were never together.
I thought that was kind of cool, to give ourselves, you know, some air, and that's why we used all of our last names. If there was any plan at all, that was the only one.
In the aftermath of CSNY, all 4 had hit solo albums. While Stills and Young were leading their own bands, Crosby and Nash began making music together as a duo.
David and I knew that we had a musical link, and we always have and always will have.
There's probably nobody currently that sings harmony the way Nash and I do, or can.
It was easy to make music with David because we think so similarly. It was a joy. We had great songs, starting with the first Graham Nash David Crosby record.
Young's solo music propelled him to the top of the charts. In time, his association with Crosby, Stills, and Nash began to seem like a brief side trip in what was always essentially a solo career.
All the people that I play with, they all know me, that I'm moving along and that I may not stay forever and that I might be back. And, you know, as long as everybody knows that from the beginning, it's great to see everybody, and change is good for music. So real musicians understand that, and they don't worry whether you're playing with them this year or not.
I wanna give. I've been a miner for a heart of gold.
The only one of us who's gone off on his own and been really successful is Neil. And he's done that brilliantly.
In 1973, Neil was on the road when he called on David and Graham to join him. After the tour, the trio contacted Stephen, and they all ended up in Hawaii. They began recording new songs, going so far as to shoot an album cover photo. But the reunion was not to be.
When people planned things for us to do, thinking that, oh, what a great opportunity, sometimes it didn't work out, you know, because it wasn't, we weren't looking at life that way at that time.
Wind blowing through my sails.
The relationship between Crosby, Stills, Nash and Neil is very much like a frozen pond. The ice gets a certain thickness, and if you wait long enough, it will bear your weight. But if you put too much weight on it, you'll go through.
The four musicians scrapped the album, but agreed to tour. The demand for tickets was enormous. For the first time ever, a rock group would do an entire tour of football stadiums.
So we change partners. Time to change partners again.
The tour was a huge success. When it was over, the group convened in Los Angeles to make an album. Shortly after the recording began, Neil disappeared.
We started it, we cut 2 tunes. Neil said he'd show up the next day. Never saw him again.
Everybody has to feel it at the same time for it to really be what it is. I mean, I think it's really great that people have wanted CSNY to be together over the years, and I think that's a testimony to that it was worth it when we did get together. But you have to want to.
After those sessions fell apart, the band members went their separate ways.
Move along quick, it furthers one to have somewhere to go. Prejudice is slick when it's a word game, it festers and grows.
A year later, Stephen was on tour with his own band when Neil showed up. After years as being part of Buffalo, Springfield, and CSNY, Stephen and Neil began recording as Stills and Young.
We make lots of room for each other, and we listen to each other, and there's little spheres of influences, you know, and Neil and I have a way of saying things in 3 sentences that it might take him and David all day to get to.
Stephen and Neil have a special chemistry the same way that Nash and I do.
And I love you, I love you, I do.
Stephen's always wanted to work with Neil, and I think he always will. And I think that goes both ways.
After recording a few songs, Stills and Young invited Crosby and Nash down to Miami to join the sessions. Once again, talk of a CSNY album and tour began. But David and Graham had signed a deal with ABC Records and had to finish an album for them first. They left Miami to finish the Crosby-Nash album, Wind on the Water, and in their absence, Neil and Stephen erased their vocals from the recorded tracks. David and Graham were hurt and angry. Neil and Stephen released Long May You Run by the Stills Young Band and went out on the road.
We've been through some things together.
It was a great record, and then the tour got going along pretty good, and we were moving so fast, though, there was no time to rehearse up anything new, so the set never changed.
After a few weeks, Neil quit the tour. He left Stephen a telegram that said, "Funny how some things that start spontaneously end that way. Eat a peach, Neil."
Neil's sense of humor, it certainly wasn't. I certainly knew him too well to let him hurt my feelings like that with a little bit of verbal jousting.
I left the tour in the middle of the tour, and there was something inherent, something was wrong. Something was wrong with the whole thing, and it wasn't working. The balance was off in some way, so you know, I bailed on it.
Neil got frustrated, and then he got sick, and he said, "Well, that's it, I'm off." You know, and he's, you know, he's got more nerve than I do. I can't just bolt like that.
Stephen was left shaken. Not only had Neil left him holding the bag on the rest of the Stills Young dates, but he had done what had seemed like irreparable damage to his relationship with David and Graham. Stephen showed up at a Crosby-Nash concert and managed to patch things up with David and Graham. Crosby, Stills, and Nash decided to pick up where they left off after their first album in 1969, as a trio. In 1976, they made CSN.
She has seen me changing.
It was a big hit. Neil Young was back to being a solo artist. Crosby, Stills, and Nash were back to being a group.
It was a pretty good time. I remember recording the CSN record in Criteria Studios in Miami. We'd rented this villa. We had great songs. We were having a great time.
Just a song before I go to make a concern. Traveling twice the speed of sound. It's easy to get burned.
Just a Song Before I Go was CSN's biggest hit ever. The band was back on top and exhilarated to be there. But David's drug use was escalating to dangerous levels.
I was just shifting in the bad habit from snorting cocaine to freebasing cocaine, which is even worse. And I was in a very good place with my music. Crosby, Stills, Nash was doing the CSN album.
But by the end of the 70s, Graham had had enough.
We're at a Crosby Nash recording session. The band started a jam. David was free smoking bass. And his pipe was on an amp. And the jam session was so vibrant and so hot that the amp was shaking, and it was slowly shaking the pipe towards the edge of the amp. Then the pipe fell off and shattered onto the ground, and David stopped the music.
Dope had gotten more important to me than music, something which I swore would never happen in my life.
And at that moment, I knew that David was in deep trouble, and that if David was in deep trouble, we were all in deep trouble. When he stopped that jam from going forward, a door shut in my mind. That was the time when I told David that I couldn't make music with him anymore.
Graham Nash was David Crosby's most loyal friend and defender. If David was so far gone that even Graham gave up on him, it looked to everyone like Crosby, Stills, and Nash were gone for good.
You are watching VH1 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Week.
Probably one of the biggest influences on everybody where I was from. Everything she seemed to do seemed to be an event. Diana Ross was the bomb.
Diana Ross takes the stage. VH1 Divas 2000. Coming Tuesday, April 11th at 9.
Hey, neighbor. Can I borrow some ice?
Yeah, sure. Hold this.
Yep. Thanks. Got any sugar? Toothbrush? Hairdryer?
With more barbecue and cheddar flavor you can see, more you can taste on every chip and every bite. New Ruffles Flavor Rush potato chips keep you coming back for more.
The new BMW X5.
Elton John's The Road to El Dorado.
The blue. Maybe years from now or tomorrow night.
The new album featuring 11 brand new songs from the award-winning songwriting team of Elton John and Tim Rice.
Someday we would live again, someday soon.
Elton John's The Road to El Dorado includes the single Someday Out of the Blue. In stores Tuesday, March 14th.
Now TV Land will bring you Inside TV Land, The Honeymooners, an original hour-long special. With new interviews and previously unseen footage, you'll see how the show came to life. Explore the roots.
He was the reactor. Many of the funny lines were Audrey's and Art's.
Get a whole new perspective.
The writers were shaking in their boots.
And see the show's impact today. Watch Inside TV Land, The Honeymooners. Premiering March 14th at 10 p.m.
In 1981, Crosby, Stills, and Nash were divided again, this time because of David Crosby's drug addiction. Stephen Stills and Graham Nash decided to record a duo album.
Basically, David was completely out of it. Stephen and I had a lot of music to make, so we decided that we were going to make music without David.
Graham and I were we're just going to make a Stills-Nash record. It's the only combination we haven't done.
Can't blame him, man. That was right near the end of my drug use days, and I was about as dysfunctional as a human being could be and not be dead.
We handed it into Atlantic Records, and they said, no, we want a CSN record. I said, there is no Crosby. He's gone. He said, well, we don't want the record. So now we're $600,000 in a record out of our own money, right? And I talked with Stephen. I said, what should we do?
And then we had to make room for Dave, you know, and he changed some things that I really wish he hadn't, and then there were some other things that were great additions. It came out much better than it should have.
Crosby was in bad shape, but with his friends' help, he made it through the sessions. The finished album included a song by Graham that documented how he felt about the whole saga of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Wasted on the Way, I wrote as a reaction to the amount of time that me and David and Stephen and Neil have wasted over the years. We have made a lot of good music, I'm not denying that, but we have wasted a lot of time. We have wasted a lot of love, and we have wasted a lot of life.
So much water moving underneath the bridge. Let the water come and carry us away.
The fact that I turned it into a hit record is almost silly, considering what it's really about.
Between 1982 and 1985, David was arrested 5 times on various drug and weapons-related charges, but his habit persisted. The trio toured on and off, whenever David was well enough.
He always tried to be there 100%. And he didn't always make it, but I do believe that the compensation factor of me and Stephen wanting to be stronger and better because our partner was hurting equaled everything out to me.
In 1985, Crosby, Stills, and Nash had a bittersweet reunion with Neil Young at Live Aid.
Find the cost of freedom, buried in the ground.
There are a lot of times that I would rather not remember. That one wasn't the worst of them. There were other times that were much worse. But, you know, there were a lot of times when I did not do anywhere near what I'm capable of doing.
Young tried to help Crosby, as others had. It was no use.
He came up to my house in Mill Valley and said, listen, man, I know you're kind of scared to go to the hospital and all that, but why don't you just come down to my place? You can kick all this stuff there. And he took the time out to try and help save my life. You know, we all care about each other a lot.
Neil offered to do another CSNY album if David managed to clean up. Instead, David went on the run from the police, ending up on his boat in Florida.
When he was on the boat, contemplating escaping, and therefore never coming back into American society and being a fugitive at large, a federal fugitive, running out of food, running out of money, the decision that he made to walk off his boat into the nearest FBI office was the point at which David recognized that he desperately, desperately needed help.
In December of 1985, David turned himself in and was extradited to a Texas prison.
I prayed for him as much as I do. He got through it, and then, well, facing the inevitable, and then he got through it.
I don't want to be the recovery poster boy. I'm one of the lucky few that, you know, was given a chance to get away from it and did. And it took a year in prison and a hell of a lot of meetings and a lot of help from my friends.
In 1986, David emerged from prison clean and sober. Neil kept his word and the quartet regrouped to record American Dream. As a gesture of friendship, it was wonderful. But musically, it was not the triumphant reunion fans had waited 16 years to hear.
It was part of a bargain that we would get together if David got straightened out.
I don't remember a bit of it, and I'd really rather not discuss it.
We really didn't get together. We were just in the same area.
It didn't work for more reasons than I can count. Valiant effort, but it didn't work.
CSNY did not tour in support of American Dream. Young went back to his solo career, and Crosby, Stills, and Nash returned to the road. Then in 1994, David was dealt another terrible blow.
I was very sick and I didn't know it. I was dying and I didn't know it. My liver was probably half gone. And we had no idea why I kept wanting to lie down and rest.
Crosby finally went to the hospital and was told his liver was failing and that he was probably going to die. He'd need all the luck in the world just to survive. For Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young to ever make music again, it would take a miracle.
CSNY play their songs and spontaneously tell the stories behind them.
Didn't we write out all the stuff we were going to say?
We forgot it all. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young Storytellers is coming up next, only on VH1.
Legends is sponsored by AT&T. It's all within your reach. By Blockbuster, where you'll find hot new releases guaranteed to be there. And by Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken.
You know, we might get hounded by fans out here. I am David Duvall.
Oh, hey.
Yo, guys!
Here we go.
Is that AT&T one rate 7-cent plan good all the time?
Yes, it is.
Thanks. Hey.
There are no time restrictions?
7 cents all day, every day.
Well, that's a heck of a plan, Dave.
Hey, phone guy!
That's unfortunate.
7 cents a minute, all day, every day.
Excuse me.
It's all day, every day.
Hey, stick to the golf, huh?
It's late, and you're tired. This is no time to have to return a movie. So now Blockbuster gives you until noon the next day to return it, 'cause it's late, and you're tired.
Rent Stigmata this week at Blockbuster and keep it 12 hours longer. Believe the words. Beware the message. Behold the truth.
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
Stigmata, starring Patricia Arquette and Gabriel Byrne. Rated R. Guaranteed to be there this week at Blockbuster.
Unforgettable. That's what you are. Unforgettable. Though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me.
Still trying to get pizza from your toaster? Try new and improved toaster breaks. With a crispier crust, zestier sauce, and cheesier cheese. Now they taste better than ever. Want pizza from your toaster? Try crispier, zestier, cheesier toaster breaks.
Step out of the shower into Neutrogena body oil. No moisturizer can touch this experience. It's the smoothing away of dryness as every light drop becomes part of your skin. The surprise of no oily afterfeel, the radiance of silky skin. Neutrogena body oil.
Introducing the all-new Hyundai Accent. It gives you a serious array of responsible features without losing its wild side. The 2000 Accent from Hyundai with the freedom of America's best warranty.
Elton John's The Road to El Dorado.
The blue, maybe years from now or tomorrow night.
The new album featuring 11 brand new songs from the award-winning songwriting team of Elton John and Tim Rice.
Someday we would live again, someday soon.
Elton John's The Road to El Dorado includes the single Someday Out of the Blue. In stores Tuesday, March 14th.
The Miami Sentinel rates it 10 out of 10, the best yet. An intense, thrilling experience no one should miss. The New York Examiner gives it a big thumbs up. Someone finally got it right.
It's so real. It felt so real.
Why is it making you cry?
It was just beautiful.
She gave you so much hope for the future.
Yeah.
You're engaged to a much older man, aren't you?
Yes, my fiancé is 13 years older than me. You nailed that exactly.
I believe. I'm going to go home and tell all my friends. Really, it's amazing.
I just wanted to see if you have been unfaithful to me.
You already know. You've already had the evidence there. Yes, he is.
Wow, you guys are good.
The other ones are fake. This one is amazing. This one is good.
So accurate it blows away the competition. If you only make one phone call, this has to be it. Now playing on a phone line near you. Call for a sneak preview and get your free psychic reading now.
Call 1-800-716-3874.
Probably one of the biggest influences on everybody where I was from. Everything she seemed to do seemed to be an event. Diana Ross was the bomb.
Diana Ross takes the stage. VH1 Divas 2000. Coming Tuesday, April 11th at 9.
In 1994, the future of Crosby, Stills, and Nash was in doubt, as David Crosby's health was in serious decline.
And I went to UCLA. They sat me down and he said, David, what the deal is you have hepatitis C, and your liver is just about destroyed, and you're going to die unless you get a transplant fairly soon. And he put me on the list, and we started to wait.
David's friends stuck with him through his ordeal, with Graham Nash keeping vigil at his bedside.
The head of medicine there at UCLA called me one day and said, we found a liver for David. Do you want to, we're going to prep him. Do you want to come? I wish him the best, and I go to the door and I turn around and I said, now look, don't you leave me with Stills. And he burst out laughing and I burst out laughing.
Crosby's will to live prevailed again. He made it through the operation, got a new liver, and regained his health.
The puzzling part isn't my descent and rise. The puzzling part is the amazing good luck that has happened and continues to happen in my life. I am an incredibly fortunate man.
When David was well enough, Crosby, Stills, and Nash returned to the road. In 1997, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Then they were dropped by Atlantic Records.
When we signed with Atlantic Records in 1969, we signed for 6 records, and I think we've only just done 6 records, and it's 30 years later. The last couple of records that Atlantic put out of ours, I didn't think that they cared about at all. And so we wanted a clean break, and we wanted a fresh start.
I don't think it's fair to blame just that one record company. They all went through the same metamorphosis. These guys are lawyers, accountants. They haven't got a clue about music.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash decided that they wanted to make new music with or without a new record deal. In 1998, they put up their own money and began recording. Then Stills got a call from Neil Young, who was working on a Buffalo Springfield box set. The two old friends got together at Neil's ranch to listen to the tapes of their first band.
Basically, we were reliving our childhood, and I played him this new song that I was working on and asked him if he would come down and help David and Graham and I, cut that.
I thought that was a cool idea, so a few weeks later I went down there, and I actually didn't even call him. I just waited till I was well on my way down there and then called him from a roadhouse.
Young began recording with Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and soon had more than an album's worth of material.
I go, Neil, this is not you guesting on a CSN record anymore. What are we doing? He said, well, looks like we're heading into a CSNY record, doesn't it?
Looking forward, all that I can see is good things happening to you and to me.
The third studio album by Crosby, Stills, Nash Young was released in the fall of 1999. The group had made one album in the 70s, one in the 80s, and one at the end of the 90s. They called it Looking Forward.
It speaks to everything that I'm feeling. I want to look forward. I've done enough explaining what we did wrong in our middle years. And I'm looking forward to how much fun we're going to have rediscovering the joy of being together.
CSNY agreed to tour for the first time in 25 years, but the dates were put on hold when Graham Nash broke both of his legs in a freak boating accident.
I must tell you that as a musician, this was one of the strangest sounds I ever heard when I broke my legs. And I thought, I've really hurt myself here. I did not think about the tour. I didn't think about anything.
Graham had been sailing with his family when a storm came up. He was thrown in the air by the waves. When he landed back in the boat, he shattered his legs.
It was a 2-hour journey back after the accident on the boat to port. And the way that I dealt with it was I chose to ignore everything below my waist. I went in my mind to a great sunset and my land in Hawaii with its waterfalls and the beauty of it. And the 2 hours passed very quickly.
Nash's recovery was difficult, but his spirit was strong and carried him through. The year 2000 brought another medical surprise from David Crosby, but this time it was a happy one. The man who came back from near death by drugs in the 80s and liver disease in the 90s was revealed to be the secret birth father of the children of singer Melissa Etheridge and her partner Julie Cypher. Crosby told An Amazed World, "Fatherhood is the wildest ride I've ever been on," and that's saying something. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young had beaten the odds so many times, it would be hard to ever count them out again. In spite of all their battles, all their talent, and all the temptations that came with success, in the long run, the music they made and the love between them was always strong enough to bring them back together.
We are more compassionate with each other. We're more understanding of our own weaknesses and strengths. We are more sensitive.
Nash is a gentleman. And I would have always put him at the center of the group. I think he's the central guy.
Graham, he's really great in the studio, and he works really hard to keep things going, keep things organized.
Stephen, explosive, brilliant, passionate guitar player, musician, singer, writer.
How can you compete with Stephen Stills? He's a great musician. You can't compete. You can't compete with Neil.
Neil's a brilliant, deep guy, but a huge creative force, and he changes the chemistry. Me, I'm kind of a lunatic. I can't categorize myself very well.
David is more the soul of the catalyst in the spiritual level of things, in some ways, to me. And then Stephen is just my bro. And I love to play guitar with him.
Between the three of them, they're just never going to let me down. We're just different. We make lots of room for each other, and we listen to each other really assiduously, like we did when we first started when we were kids.
I must tell you that the feeling between the four of us has never been better.
In the morning, when you rise, do you think of me and how you left me crying? Are you thinking of telephones and managers where you got to be at noon? You are living a reality I left years ago. It quite nearly killed me. In the long run, it will make you cry, make you crazy. only certain to tell you, confusion has its cost. Love isn't lying, it's loose in a lady who lingers, saying she is lost and choking on hello. Person, they got two alone, they got three together, they are for each other.
Thank you. And welcome. One day, Joan and I, Joni Mitchell, who was my girlfriend at the time, we'd been antiquing, and she bought a... What? Yeah, it is always a little weird.
Accomplishments out of this?
Yes.
Hey, wait a minute. We can all start.